Our next adventure was Kanazawa, which is near the northwest coast on the Sea of Japan. The city escaped bombing during World War II as it had no industry. We traveled there on the Shinkansen, or bullet train, that started in 1959. Today, more than 150 million passengers a year travel at 185 miles an hour. For example, the 340-mile route between Tokyo and Osaka has 323 regular runs, carrying 1,323 passengers daily. The ride, close to NASCAR speeds, is smooth and comfortable. This 21st century city presents an extraordinary union of unblemished old Japan and a modern trend-setting metropolis. More than 500 years of history have been preserved in these walls. It is a city with a strong cultural identity and was historically shielded from the outside by its location between the Alps and the sea. In 1583, the area known as Kaga passed from under Buddhist rule to the firm rule of the Masada lords, while much of Japan was still unstable. Kaga had 3 centuries of peace and became the richest domain in Japan, mainly because of its rice production. When Japan modernized, Kanazawa focused on culture, thus retaining its heritage today. Kanazawa is a former samurai stronghold. We had the pleasure of visiting the Terashima House, a former samurai home with its gardens. At one time, the house was massive, but today it's only a quarter of its former size. The term Bakufu originally meant the dwelling and household of a shogun, but in time the meaning evolved to a government system of military dictatorships. This system began at the end of the 12th century, lasting for 700 years, until the middle of the 19th century. After visiting the samurai house, we completely changed gears and visited Kasuwana's geisha district. In the early stages of Japanese history, there were female entertainers or serving girls, who were mostly wandering girls. Some of these girls sold sexual services, while others with better education made a living by entertaining at high-class social gatherings. Skilled female performers and dancers thrived. Traditional Japan embraced sexual delights. It is not a Shinto taboo, and men were not constrained to be faithful to their wives. The ideal wife was a modest mother and manager of the home. By Confucian customs, love was of secondary importance. The highest class was the geisha predecessor, a combination of actress and prostitute, originally playing on stages. They performed erotic dances and skits, and this new art was dubbed kabuku, meaning to be wild and outrageous. The dances were called kabuki, thus the beginning of the kabuki theater. In 1944, the geisha world was put to work in factories. After Japan lost the war, the geisha district dispersed and the profession was in shambles. It was not until the late 1960s that the geisha world would change. In modern Japan, girls are not sold into indentured service, nor are they coerced into sexual relations. Nowadays, a geisha's sex life is her private affair. The Shigashi Chai-Adi Pleasure District was established in 1820 and was the grandest district outside Kyoto or Tokyo. Full of atmosphere, the area had old-fashioned street lamps, wooden lattice windows hiding elegant restaurants and craft galleries. Upper floors have guest rooms with small stages where the geisha sang and danced, and downstairs are living quarters. Our next stop was the Kinpaku Sakuda Gold Leaf Store. This store sells gold leaf items and demonstrates their production process to the public. 99.9% of all gold leaf production in Japan is produced in Kasuwana. This has continued since 1593. We watched skilled women take the leaf at 10 thousandths millimeter thick and prepare it for shipment all over Japan.
The Golden Pavilion. For the Golden Pavilion, the gold leaf used for the Golden Pavilion is 5 times thicker than the regular, the gold leaves. 5 times thicker.
金沢は99%の人で金沢の金閣作ってましたから、前一人の職人さんが作ったものを持っていって金閣にはなっております。
So the Kanazawa gold leaf has 99% of the market share. So those gold leaf, most of the gold leaves are made by the craftsman in Kanazawa. And this gold leaf used for the Kinkakuji golden pavilions are also made by the craftsman in Kanazawa.
Lonnie was given a sample. We wondered how much it would be worth here in the States. To our amazement, this establishment had bathrooms tiled in gold leaf. Kenderkan Garden is one of the most celebrated gardens in Japan. It first gained notoriety 500 years ago when a militant Buddhist sect joined with peasant rebels to overthrow the feudal lord, an event unprecedented in Japanese history that lasted for more than 100 years. The garden changes colors with seasons. However, some of these colors eluded us. Pine trees here are being fitted with support ropes to protect against heavy snow in winter. Spring brings cherry blossoms, and summer brings brilliant azaleas. Towards the end of World War II, the Japanese were very low on fuel, so as a substitute they manufactured turpentine from these trees. In a remote mountain region south of Kanazawa, we visited a very unique thatched house design. This area is known as the Shore-Aqua Valley and has two areas known as the Shore-Aqua-Go to the south and the Go-Kayama to the north. They call these the Gas Hokuzuri farmhouses. Their names come from their steep thatched roofs shaped like gas ho, meaning praying hands. As hands come together, fingertips touching, in Buddhist observance, so lie the sloping gable roofs. They are remarkable structures. Watertight layers of reed thatching 3 feet thick or more over massive wooden beams set at a steep 60-degree angle keep the snow from piling up in the winter. The mountain forest here has some of the heaviest snowfall in Japan, 12 feet of it from November through March. Here is a picture of the design and construction of these remarkable structures. Astonishingly, these houses were built without nails, pegs, or brackets. Complex joinery, ropes, and strips of hazelwood hold the beams together. The joints are tightened with small wedges, typically with no diagonal bracing. They are flexible enough to withstand winter storms and even earthquakes. Every few years, the straw roofs must be replaced. This project is a massive undertaking, preparing the straw to the proper width, height, and thickness, then tying the hundreds of sections of the straw to the roof. The final step is a roof trimming to be sure that everything is set to perfection. The houses, 4 and sometimes 5 stories high, are usually built on the north-south axis, so the angle offers the least resistance to the winter wind. They are a practical architectural adaptation to nature with a certain rustic beauty.